Right, let's turn our focus here now. The Western Cape High Court has issued a final order setting aside the Kannaland Municipality's controversial bylaw, which extends liquor trading hours in a case brought against the municipality by the DG Trust, or the DGMT. Judge Erasmus declared the bylaw unconstitutional and invalid, confirming that the municipality failed to uphold its obligations to protect public health and safety. The ruling was by mutual agreement between DGMT and the municipality. Let's now bring in David Harrison, CEO of DG Murray. A very good evening to you, and thank you so much for joining us and, of course, for agreeing to speak to us. A rather controversial bylaw to begin with by the municipality. Let's get your reaction, firstly, to the final order by the courts, finding it invalid and, of course, unconstitutional.
Well, that's a really significant finding. The fact that it's unconstitutional, the fact that the judge expects municipalities to uphold the Constitution, which requires municipalities to ensure the health and safety of their communities. And so what we're hoping is that this will set a precedent for other municipalities that are similarly trying to push the boundaries, that are similarly trying to eke out as much money as they possibly can derive from the liquor industry at the expense of women and children, traffic accidents, homicides, all of those factors that we know are concentrated in the early hours of the morning.
Now, David, I mean, we know that you have commissioned studies specifically around the closure around midnight and what that does, for liquor outlets in the Western Cape specifically, and how they could significantly reduce alcohol-related harm. Just talk to us about some of the findings that led you to, of course, contest this bylaw.
Yes, and we need to understand that ultimately there's going to have to be a balance between the economic value of alcohol and the prevention of harms. What we saw from the Western Cape was that the later into the night liquor is sold, the faster the rate of violence. In other words, there's an acceleration, there's an exponential increase, particularly after midnight. So in the Western Cape, for example, a quarter of all murders happen between midnight and 4 o'clock in the morning. 1/4 of those, 2/3 are associated with alcohol. So those are murders. I mean, we can talk about traffic vehicle accidents, exactly the same thing, also 2/3 associated with alcohol at that time of the morning. And we just heard the early insert about the effect on gender-based violence, on personal injury, and on other social ills. So for us, when we did the modelling, what we found is that the best time to close on-site liquor outlets would be at midnight. That would save a significant number of deaths and tens of thousands of injuries over a 20-year period if you closed it at midnight. If you closed it at 1 o'clock, fewer lives saved. Close at 2, fewer lives saved. But you could argue, and society needs to make that call, that it's still okay to close up till 2 o'clock. We would say 12 o'clock, but 2 o'clock might be acceptable. But yeah. What Kannaland Municipality did was extended their hours until 4 o'clock in the morning.
Yeah. Crazy. I mean, beyond this case, you have been actively engaged in advocacy efforts around just responsible alcohol regulation. We know you have a case that's ongoing in Limpopo. Just bring us up to speed in terms of what's happening in that case.
Yeah, so in Limpopo, we are a friend of the court. What happened there was that the province did a fantastic thing. The province actually insisted on closing liquor outlets at midnight. And they were taken to court by the Liquor Traders Association. And for some reason that I don't understand, the EFF joined them to oppose that closure at midnight. So we came in as a friend of the court in support of the province. So now we're waiting for the case to be heard by the High Court in Limpopo.
And just the role, as we wrap up our conversation, David, the role of the Department of Social Development in preventing and, of course, treatment for substance abuse use and disorders in these various provinces. I mean, how significant is it?
Well, I think the most significant department at the moment that has to step up its game is the Department of Trade, Industry and Competition. It's been sitting on a liquor amendment bill since 2016 that would significantly improve the consequences of and reduce the harm of alcohol in our country. We can't shed crocodile tears about gender-based violence while we're sitting on a liquor amendment bill that is going to significantly reduce access to alcohol, particularly in communities that are hardest hit by this blight.
Absolutely. Well, thank you so much, David, for your time. Really do appreciate it. CEO there of DG Murray, David Harrison there for us. Of course, this comes at the back of that court order, the Western Cape High Court issuing a final order setting aside the Kannaland Municipality's controversial bylaw, which extended liquor trading hours up to 4 a.m. in the morning, as we've just heard.